You're watching eNews Direct. Hello and welcome to it. I'm Tutuzile Ramela. Here are the stories we're tracking for you this evening. The Labour Court rules the police employment equity plan invalid. And more bad news for the police. Minister Nkosinathi Nhleko has 30 days to avoid jail. Of course, you can have a say on any of our stories. Do find us on Twitter and Facebook. Just search for eNews Direct using the hashtags Nhleko and Gareth Cliff. And to our top story, it's back to the drawing board for the South African Police Service. Today, the Labour Court ruled that their employment equity plan violates the Constitution. Trade union Solidarity argued the police's redress policy amounted to unlawful quotas.
An end to the quotas quarrel, with the Labour Court having the final say. It's declared the South African Police Service's equity plan from 2010 to 2014 invalid. A victory for trade union Solidarity, which was fighting the issue for some of its members.
The fact of the matter is, what this specific judgment says is that you must take into account other factors as well, not only race, also, for instance, the pool of available skills.
The Labour Court ruling has brought some clarity to a thorny issue: the difference between a numerical target, which is constitutional, and a quota, which is not. The court found that the South African Police Service applied the target as if they were quotas with no flexibility, violating the Constitution and unfairly reserving jobs. The implications of this ruling could be far-reaching.
Those who benefited from the application of the plan and have been appointed could well see their appointments either set aside on the basis that Solidarity should have joined them as parties. In other words, those who are affected have the right also to be heard in that process. So it's not just an automatic, case of them now being disenfranchised and not, in fact, receiving that benefit in law.
The police say they are studying the judgment, but in court papers they argued that during the period in question they promoted thousands of white employees. Malungi Lupui, Johannesburg.
Police Minister Nkosinathi Nhleko could face jail time. That's if he does not comply with a court order. A man who was wrongfully arrested and raped in police holding cells is suing the SAPS. The police minister ignored a court order last year in connection with that case.
Police Minister Nathi Nhleko could spend 100 days in jail for contempt of court should he fail to comply with the court order. This is in the wake of an unlawful arrest of a Pretoria man at the Rustenburg police station. Subsequent to that, he was raped in a police holding cell. He is now suing the police minister for damages. The North Gauteng High Court has ordered the man to go for medical examination within 30 days and has instructed Nhleko to pay for it. He ignored the same order last year. The man's lawyer, Robert van Wyk, says this is not the only court order Nhleko has defied. He has also failed to produce copies of the Rustenburg police cell register. Van Wyk adds that Nhleko's actions cannot be justified.
The Gauteng Health Department has confirmed 2 new cases of typhoid fever in the province. Now, both cases were diagnosed at a hospital outside Pretoria. This brings the total number of infected patients to 7. The department says there are no links between the patients who've all traveled around southern Africa. The first case in the province was reported 2 weeks ago. 1 person has since died and 2 children remain under observation. Now, typhoid is a bacterial infection caused by salmonella. Symptoms can include high fever, weakness, abdominal pain, constipation and headaches. It is treated, however, with antibiotics. Parliament has been warned against regulating over-the-top services such as WhatsApp and Skype. Industry experts say regulation will stifle innovation. However, cell phone giants claim these services are eating their profits. The hot topic was discussed at a meeting hosted today by Parliament's Portfolio Committee on Telecommunications and Postal Services.
A tense debate on the pros and cons of regulating OTT services such as WhatsApp and Skype. One argument: OTTs provide access to the internet for the poor and should not be restricted. On the other hand, the major networks are concerned that without regulation, OTT services get the personal data on South Africans and sell it on. And they don't pay tax in South Africa.
Those OTTs are not situated in South Africa. They obtain your personal information, and their revenue stream is to sell the personal information. I think our POPI requirements might frown upon that. So they also get access, for instance, to your phone's address book or contact list.
OTT service providers deny this.
Facebook and WhatsApp do not sell user data. That is not our business model. We sell advertising on our platform in the same way that television stations and radio stations sell advertising.
Regulator ICASA has also warned against rushing into regulating OTTs.
Sometimes, when innovation comes up, you allow it to grow.
The Telecommunications Department says it will submit a white paper on proposed OTT policy to Cabinet in March. Bonga Dlulane, Parliament.
12 kilometers every day. That's how far the average South African child has to walk to get to school and back. However, today a plan was rolled out in Soweto to tackle the transport problem.
It takes Tato Mola 20 minutes to get to school on his bicycle. A trip that used to take 2 hours to walk.
Since I received a bike, it has changed a lot of things in my life. Like, I come to school early and then saves me time and money.
Volunteer organization Qobeka believes bicycles can help uplift entire communities.
The community takes care of the bicycles. So although the children are the beneficiaries, the bicycle program is a gift to the community.
In the last 10 years, Qobeka, along with corporate partners, has given out 63,000 bikes. The children are chosen by the community based on vulnerability and in particular the distances they travel to and from school.
Being on two wheels vastly improves the amount of time it takes for a child to get to school. In fact, if they're riding one of these, they can carry 5 times the amount of school books that they could if they were walking. Some studies have shown that owning a bike doesn't just improve a child's school attendance, it can actually improve their marks.
The children are given road safety training. Each area has a trained bicycle mechanic, and the children can get their two-wheelers repaired for a small amount. Teresa Taylor, Soweto.
A quick look now at international headlines, and it appears that long-delayed peace talks in the Syrian conflict will start on Friday. But the UN Special Envoy says discussions over who should take part are still underway. The priorities are a broad ceasefire to stop Islamic State and increase aid. In the latest attack claimed by IS, a double bomb attack killed 22 people in the government-controlled city of Homs. More than 250,000 people have died in almost 5 years of fighting since opposition protests against the rule of President Bashar al-Assad. Malaysia's Attorney General has cleared Prime Minister Najib Razak of corruption in a long-running financial scandal. It concerns an amount of $681 million deposited into Najib's bank account in 2013. The Attorney General's office said the money was a personal donation from the Saudi royal family. Critics had alleged the money came from a state-owned investment fund. And countries in Latin America are stepping up efforts to contain the spread of the Zika virus. The Aedes aegypti mosquito carries the virus once it's ingested the blood of an infected person. And in Brazil, the army has been called in to help health inspectors identify breeding grounds. This week, the World Health Organization warned that the virus is likely to spread across much of the Americas. It has been linked to thousands of babies being born with underdeveloped brains. Well, let's take a look now at what's topical on social media. I'm joined by Gareth Edwards, and it's not you trending again, Gareth, hey?
No, it's not me this time. No, it's the other Gareth. This one, Mr. Gareth Cliff and Mnet in court today. So it is always going to be the #1 hashtag around South Africa, hashtag Gareth Cliff. So the question is he going to get his job on Idols back? In case you missed that, judgment is expected on Friday. And then this man, he can do no wrong at the moment. Sandile will have the details of what a sensational spell of bowling from Kagiso Rabada. It's been 13, actually proving to be a very lucky number for him. In fact, a well-known sports journal on Twitter today noticing that Kagiso was born on the 25th of May 1995. You might know the date because that's when the SA Rugby World Cup kicked off. That's making you feel old this evening as well. For more on these stories, of course, you can always follow us on Twitter and go and like us on Facebook. All you need to do is go and look for eNews Direct, or you can even go to our website as well. It is enca.com/direct. While you're there, our top trending story today is a sad one. It is that of a car crashing into school kids, one of them sadly passing away.
Welcome back. Money Matters now, and the Gautrain is a hit. And get this, 9,000 more jobs will be created when a new rail project comes on stream in 2018. Gautrain is looking to buy additional rolling stock, build a new depot and install more signalling. Of course, this will help the high-speed train service cope with the increasing passenger numbers. Gautrain currently carries over 60,000 passengers daily.
1.4 million passengers are moved by Gautrain every month, and the numbers keep growing. Now it's looking to buy 12 new rail cars, build a new depot and install additional signalling without spending taxpayers' money. The Development Bank of Southern Africa is investing 3.5 billion rand towards the project. And Gautrain is calling on the best local and international suppliers to bid. The procurement agreement will include a 15-year maintenance contract. 9,000 jobs will be created as a result. The introduction of the high-speed train has already changed passenger travel patterns, and the value of properties close to stations have grown faster by 3% than in other areas. Gautrain officials are confident more trains will not only benefit the passengers but help grow Gauteng's economy. Tanapatsa, Johannesburg.
No out-of-court settlement unless MTN withdraws its lawsuit. That's the word from the Nigerian Communications Commission. Last year, it slapped the communications giant with a 64.63 billion rand fine for failing to disconnect unregistered SIM cards. MTN then filed a suit in the West African country, questioning the legal grounds for the penalty. MTN makes about 37% of its revenue in Nigeria. Now, Nigerian officials say the withdrawal of the lawsuit could create a better environment for parties to come to some sort of agreement. And last week, a Lagos judge gave the two sides until March 18 to try and reach a settlement over the fine. President Muhammadu Buhari will have the final say on the matter. And with that, let's see how the markets performed today. Let's check in with the Weather Center now. Here's Candace.
Good evening and welcome to the Weather Centre on Tuesday, where fog moves in along the west coast tonight and remains in the forecast through to Wednesday morning. A ridging high also brings in some morning fog and drizzle on the northeast. In the afternoon, we're expecting thunderstorms between the northwest and the east coast, partly cloudy and dry in the south, with a cold front moving in on Wednesday night, bringing in some light rainfall mainly for the Cape Peninsula. It's a sizzling hot day for Lundi and Richards Bay at 37 and 35 degrees. You'll see a hot day throughout KwaZulu-Natal with the possibility of of thundershowers, Pietermaritzburg at 34. We keep in the low 30s over the interior part of the Eastern Cape, but thundershowers over the northeastern parts. Mostly sunny and warm along the coast with quite a gusty afternoon where strong winds are forecast. You'll see a dry and warm to hot day throughout the Western Cape, other than the cold front bringing in some light evening rain for Cape Town, 25 degrees for Cape Town, Hermanus and Plettenberg Bay. Morning fog starts off the day all the way along the west coast with a predominantly sunny forecast for the Northern Cape. Highs start to head into the mid-30s over the eastern parts. 32 degrees and partly cloudy for Bloemfontein with thundershowers mainly over the eastern part of the Free State. You'll see isolated thundershowers and hot weather for the northwest. Vryburg remaining dry at 35 degrees. Sizzling hot with a dry forecast for Limpopo, other than the possibility of drizzle for Zanin at 33. Partly cloudy and scorching hot for Skukuza at 36. Isolated thundershowers are expected for the rest of Mpumalanga, eMakazeni and Ermelo at 26 degrees. 32 for Pretoria, with the rest of the highs at around 30 degrees for Gauteng on Wednesday, and we're expecting isolated afternoon and evening thundershowers. On Thursday, rain is forecast for George, with thunderstorms mainly over the far eastern part of South Africa. You'll see sunny and hot weather in the west on Friday, with the possibility of thundershowers for the northwest, Gauteng and the Free State, and we're expecting some rain along the east coast. That's all from the Weather Centre for now. Have a good night.
Right, here's what's coming up after the break. Gareth Cliff will soon find out if he'll return as an Idols judge. Welcome back. Advocate Dalimpofu came out guns blazing today for his client, ex-Idol judge Gareth Cliff.
Mpofu says Cliff's only crime was sending a tweet and it's unfair to fire someone based on an online frenzy.
Now today, Cliff's application to be reinstated was heard in the South Gauteng High Court.
Cliff was sacked after he tweeted a response to the Penny Sparrow racism controversy.
Mpofu accused Mnet of having no case against Cliff and treating him differently to other judges. Mnet said Cliff's tweet triggered a huge public outcry and was widely perceived to defend Sparrow, whether he intended to or not.
Now, Mnet is standing by its decision to fire Cliff, saying it has to protect its brand at all costs. Cliff's legal team says progress was made today and a decision is due on Friday.
One of the common things that was clarified is that Mnet accepts that Gareth Cliff is not a racist. The other important thing that came out is that Mnet really discriminated against Gareth Cliff in relation to the other judges who were also part of the panel when they said things that were found to be inappropriate. Fortunately, all these things were clarified before the judge. Now we're in the hands of the judge to render a verdict. We remain confident, though.
A reminder of the day's top stories before we say goodbye. The Labour Court rules the Police Employment Equity Plan between 2010 and 2014 invalid. Well, more bad news for the police as Minister Nkosinathi Nhleko has 30 days to avoid jail. And that's a wrap from the eNews Direct team.
It is. We're back tomorrow. Rhythm City up next, though.
Indeed. Remember, you can share your views with us. Send us an email to enewsdirect@etv.co.za.
You can, of course, just chat to us on Twitter and Facebook, and our handle is @eNewsDirect.
Until next time, have a fantastic evening. Bye-bye.